My name is Claude Lorius. I'm a glaciologist. Vostok is probably the most difficult place to reach in Antarctica. To me, what is most important is that a handful of people managed to undertake this type of operation in the Cold War context. This is also a privilege of Antarctica.
As a lifelong investigator, Claude still remembers the moment when his finest scientific intuition was conceived. In 1965, he was in charge of the Dumont d'Urville Antarctic Station. At the end of a harassing day of drilling, they dropped in their glasses samples of 1,000-year-old ice cubes. Claude suddenly became quiet. Where are the bubbles coming from? What if the air trapped in the ice came from ancient climates? It would mean extracting ice samples from a great depth in order to reach air from distant eras. We could go back in time, but we would have to prove it first. Claude and his teams tried to develop specific drilling techniques. The years went by, and suddenly he remembered Vostok, the coldest place on the planet. There, the Soviets had drilled the ice at incredible depths. The friendships he forged over the course of his expeditions would be determining. At the height of the Cold War, he managed to convince Americans, Soviets, and Frenchmen to work together. His goal was to unveil the secrets of Vostok ice. The Americans would be in charge of transportation. The Soviets would provide their ice samples, and the French would analyze them. The Soviet drillers worked day and night to reach the subsoil and its treasures. Ice for them was only an obstacle of no importance. Luckily, they had stored the drilling residues in one of the station cellars. 2,083 meters of ice cores carefully indexed and never studied. Claude carefully sorted through the best preserved samples. 160,000 years of climate archives slid through his hands. An unbelievable treasure for a glaciologist. But the adventure wasn't over yet. The ice had to be transported back to France without it melting. Once again, the Soviets would provide assistance. Their tractors hauled the ice cores back to the coast, where they were loaded into the insulated hold of their ship for the next part of the journey. Once they reached the laboratory, an entire team had to ensure the minute extracted air bubbles would remain intact. Analyzing these samples would take several years. By studying their composition, Claude and his team made a crucial discovery. Atmospheric carbon dioxide concentrations and the temperature of the air have always been intimately correlated. Beginning in 1850, results went amok. The carbon dioxide curve pulls away from its natural oscillation, skyrocketing to unprecedented levels. Then, the temperature curve starts to climb. A sudden change, which coincides with our industrial development. As a result of its activities, humanity is changing the Earth's climate.